Welcome back. I am Cassidy Amber Chapman and I'm telling you my digital nomad story of my first year as a digital nomad. So, on our last video, we just talked about Nigeria and now we'll be heading to, I said Peru, but I really meant Colombia. As I said, on this video series, I will mess up and I'm not gonna edit it out because we don't got time to edit. So, I come back after Nigeria to Colombia. I wanted to skip to Peru, but we are not in Peru yet. So I come back to Colombia and I go to, I stay in Bogota for a couple of days and I stay with a host family that was just incredible, but this is also where some technology issues began to ring. So, before in Colombia, I forgot to mention that my computer completely broke. And I had to bring it to the bootleg Apple store in Colombia. And they said it was going to take a month for them to fix it. So not only was it going to take a month to fix and I wasn't going to be able to bring it to Nigeria, but also it was going to wipe all of my data that I had on there. Okay, I took it as, okay, I've been asked to give away everything so I can start a new life, and this is me starting a new life. So that whole hardware was wiped away and we're starting anew again. Now when I come back to Colombia, this is in Bogota, my computer was left in Medellin because I was about to go back, but I stayed with a host family for a week before I was going to fly to Medellin again. So now at this point I don't have a computer, but I have my phone, right? Now when I get to Bogota, my phone's not working and I am struggling to try to get Uber because a taxi was going to be super expensive because the host family I was staying with was an hour away. So I was scared. I was really scared. And I was staying at the airport for hours, like not knowing what to do. Honestly, I was just crying and I was a mess. I was just feeling like, first of all, this was me coming back and me actually being alone. And I know I said that a couple times, but each time I became alone, it felt kind of like I was stepping into something else that I wasn't capable of. Honestly, sometimes when I was alone, I didn't feel capable. I didn't feel capable of being in a country by myself. And it's almost as if every time I go to an airport, I'm like, I can't do it. And then after the airport, it's fine. But in the airport, I was like, I can't do it. Why did I do this? And so my phone was not working and I could not figure it out. I couldn't figure it out. I mean, and also I felt like I couldn't understand the Spanish that they were trying to explain it with me. And it was because I just didn't understand the English that they were trying to tell me too. Like I didn't understand even when it was in my language. I was like, what? So it was a lot of technical issues. SIM card wasn't working, instead my phone broke and this and that. So I am lost. I don't know what to do. And I finally can get enough. I'm paying for Wi-Fi every 30 minutes and I probably paid for 4 hours worth of Wi-Fi. And I am texting my host family. I'm texting my parents. I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? And now I'm scared because I'm about to go into, again, scared of being in Colombia by myself, scared that I'm gonna have to be without service for a whole hour to drive to the host family, and I still don't know what to do. So I finally, and my phone's not working. So finally, my parents had sent me an Uber because they were like, okay, just let us send you an Uber and we'll just watch where you're going so that you feel safe. I was like, okay. So they got me the Uber to be able to go to my host family. So I felt a little bit safer. But now I'm getting in the Uber. The first Uber I have ever since I left that was a woman. I said, oh, thank you, God. Thank you, Lord. I was so happy that she was a woman and she was taking me to the hour-long ride with no service. I mean, it was so stressful. The thought just kept running through my head beforehand, which was, I can't do this. I am so stupid. I'm so dumb. I'm so incapable. And then you leave and you're like, okay, that was stupid. That was literally just because I was scared. Fear will have you saying some crazy stuff. And then you're like, okay, I'm totally capable. I'm totally fine. So once I get into the Uber and I finally get to my host family, they are the sweetest people in the world. And I mean, I had just come out of 30 hours of traveling and I couldn't even interact. I was like, I am so sorry. You're the sweetest people I ever met. Can I please go to sleep? I was like dizzy. I was so tired because I didn't sleep on the plane very well. So I had not slept in a while. So when I finally go to sleep, poof, knock out. And that whole week was incredible. I mean, beautiful people. And also me trying to figure out my whole technological issues was stressing me out again. It was because now at least I'm with a host family and I felt safe. But I knew very soon I was not going to be with a host family. And I was a bit freaking out that I was not going to have service to be able to be alone in Colombia. Which, by the way, Medellin, my friend was no longer there. So it was going to be, I was a bit scared. So long story short, I ended up buying a second phone, which I was already planning kind of on doing. A lot of people in Latin America, when you have a really nice phone, what you would do is you buy a second phone. So when you get robbed, or you just give them, the cheaper phone. So I did buy a cheap phone that allowed me to be able to keep this phone, or actually, sorry, not this phone. We'll get to that. To be able to have my iPhone and then just have a second phone so that if I was robbed, I was going to be okay. And that had service. But man, oh man, was that was difficult. Thank God for my host family. They were the most incredible people helping me make sure I had a phone and that I was safe and that when I left, I was going to be in safe hands. So I had the most incredible time, and there's something about Colombians that make you feel so welcome, so loved, there's such a warmness in their hearts of just love and community. And so when I left, I was kind of sad. I was like, I'll see you guys again at some point because I love you guys. Now, I go back to Medellin, and again, the feelings of why am I here? I am scared. I don't know what it is about the airport, about being alone and trying to figure out where I'm going. That's the part that I don't like, apparently. When I'm in the country, when I'm in the space, it's fine. It's getting off the plane and being like, where do I go? I don't know what I'm doing. That's apparently the worst part for me. So, once I finally get to the place, my friend gives me her keys and she's about to leave. And I'm in a beautiful new apartment. And of course, when the lights go, or the sun goes down at night, I'm on the 4th floor and I see the most incredible view of the city. Now, Medellin is like, the mountains are breathtaking. See, there's the city lights on the mountains, and so it's something that's absolutely extraordinary. One part of the story that I did not mention before was the first time I drove into Medellin. I was looking at the mountains after as I got off the airport, and I just started crying, and I felt like I was home. It was the craziest feeling. You know that feeling when you go home and you're like, I feel like I'm home. You know, like there's that relief that comes when you come home. I had felt that the first time I ever was driving into the city, which was the craziest feeling for me because it was like, I've never been here. Why do I feel like this is home? And so the second time I drove in, it just had that same feeling, like I just come home. And so I was sure beyond sure that that was going to be my home forever. Now, we'll talk about that later. I still am unsure, but it was just this home feeling. It was just incredible. So now I'm in an apartment that has the most incredible view. I wanted to learn piano. There's a piano. Like, it was just felt like everything was working out. And again, I'm still a little scared to cut out of the apartment and to start walking. It takes me about a week or two to be able to walk around and feel safe enough to walk around. I don't know what it is, but first of all, sometimes I just need to sleep after I travel, but there's just a time of like just needing to take time to acquire to the space. So now that I'm in Colombia, there is just everything about it just feels like home. Like I go out dancing and I started having friends and I found all of these WhatsApp groups that had all of these events, and I started going to events by myself and meeting people. And when I met, first of all, again, I'm scared in my boots going into events by myself, but I do it. Why? Because I always meet incredible people and it always ends up being the best thing I ever did for myself. So I ended up going to these events and meeting all these people, and then meeting these people. People invited me to events, and I was no longer alone very quickly. I call myself a solo female traveler, but I don't know if that's really the truth because I don't feel alone. I feel everywhere I go, I can just make friends, and when you make friends, then you are no longer alone. So it was interesting adapting, because now at this point it's 2 months by myself in Colombia, and it's trying to figure out what's the work travel like balance. You know, I at that point I was getting so much inspiration. I also had a lot of work to catch up on because I didn't really have I didn't have my computer, and there was just a lot of work to catch up on. So this is month number, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So now I have a lot of work to catch up on, and I'm so inspired. I mean, so inspired. There's so many projects that I started there that are going to continue to release like now and continue for the next couple, for the rest of the year. I was so inspired. I had never been so productive in my life. It was like being in Medellin, now I know why I needed to be there, because it was the amount of ideas that came, the amount of productivity, the amount of clarity and realization and it was just everything I needed. And every time I went to a new country and I got myself there and I settled in, it was like I did it. There was just always this feeling of, I'm doing it. I did it. There was just this I wish I could to tell myself months ago, like, hey, it's better than you think it's gonna be. Even though I had the faith that there was gonna be something beyond my wildest imagination, but man, it blew me away. And so I was just living the dream. I mean, having my most incredible clients. I love my clients. I love helping my clients transform. I mean, being a support on my clients' transformational journeys. There's nothing quite like it. I love when my clients are getting results, and just that is incredible for me. And so that was happening. There was a lot of people saying that they were having incredible results. And then I was going to so many events. And I went to this place called Comuna 13. I'm an art lover, especially graffiti and street art and things like that. It's a part of the city in the mountains that is just covered in the most incredible graffiti. And there's like, if you're gonna go to Medellin, please go to Comuna 13. It is everything. Like you really need to go see it because it is breathtaking. Now that I'm there, I'm starting to make really good friends. And at that point, it was like, I don't want to leave. I love it here. I feel like this is home. I feel like I'm never going, like this is where I'm going to live forever because I am just so happy. I just was so peaceful. I was living by the most incredible park. Every day I was discovering either new nature or new events or new people or, I was just having the best time ever. And then, I knew before I was going to Colombia that I was going to go to Peru right after. That's why I was from that date to that date. Because I had a friend who was going to go to Peru. So I feel like Colombia needs a more greater ending because it was just, Colombia was like the love of my life. It was a moment I came alive. It was a moment I was in a fairy tale. Colombia is everything. And I'm absolutely going to go back. I just don't know when. So, Colombia, the love of my life. It was filled with adventure, filled with meeting new people, filled with the most incredible nature and experiences. And I'm just so grateful. So the next video, we'll be talking about Peru, finally. I'll see you on the next video. Remember to be brave, to be bold, and to be who you're meant to be. Ciao!